Hello and welcome to tonight's bee competition. It's February 12th, 2021. Before we get started with the competition, we have some announcements. We have some upcoming competitions. Photojournalism, really not a competition, but a photojournalism night on February 26th. The deadline for entries to that is February 24th. And then we do have a creative competition on March 5th, and the deadline for that is also February 24th. So we encourage you to get involved in both of those competitions. We do have an upcoming speaker on the 19th. It's a members-only Zoom presentation, and our speaker is Brent Paul, who conducts wildlife safaris in the American West. So there will be a email coming out with the link to the Zoom, and that'll go to all members. And so kind of watch for that. And we ask you to, when you join the Zoom session, to join about 7:15, 7:20, something like that, and we'll let you in from the waiting room. We do have a field trip. It's really more of a photo op as opposed to a field trip, since we're not actually meeting as a group. But on February 20th and 21st, the Medina Ice Festival will be held. And that will be at Medina's Public Square, and it is free and open to the public. So it is a good opportunity to get out and get some winter photos. So we encourage you to watch this and all Friday evening meetings at your convenience on our YouTube channel. There's a link on the CPS website homepage, or you can open YouTube and search for Cleve Photographic. I do want to remind you that that does not include the Zoom meetings, since those are members only, so we do not put those out on YouTube. Those will be made available at some point in the future for rebroadcast. We invite you to subscribe to our channel and choose to be notified whenever a new video is posted. All right, so welcome to the third bee competition for the 2020-2021 year. And tonight we have 24 pictorial images. And let me introduce you to our judges for the evening. Our first judge is Dan Sandy. Dan has had a passion for photography since his youth, and that passion has only grown with time. Regardless of subject, Dan loves the creative process and the sometimes unexpected results of photographic exploration, unintended and unexpected results. To him, the journey can be as important as the destination. Dan serves as the chairman of the creative competitions for CPS, and he claims that he has grown tremendously as a member of CPS and has had the pleasure of picking up a few awards along the way. Our second judge is Eric Wethington. He's a 28-year veteran of Dodd Camera and a 10-year member of the Cleveland Photographic Society. For the last 2 years, he has served as a board member and people competition chairperson. He's an avid Pentax camera user, and that includes both film and digital. He holds 2 degrees, an AAB in Computer Information Systems and an AAB in Photography. He's done several presentations in years past on the latest in photography equipment at many local photo clubs and schools. He has had several photos published nationally in books and newspapers. He's twice recognized and internationally published for his landscape photography. Has had 2 perfect scores while a member of CPS in the people category, I'm jealous, and recognition in the end of the year CPS competition. He has been involved in several joint exhibits and 1 solo exhibit, has shot 3 seasons as the Cleveland Monsters hockey marketing department photographer, and has self-published a book, Experiments in Photochroma Fluidography. Okay, and then our final judge is Lauri Culp. Now, that's Lauri on the right, so you know. She has always been curious about photography and took it up in 2014 after her daughter left for college. That's not her daughter either. started by enrolling in the fundamentals class at CPS and then moved through the various editing classes. Lauri claims she has met a lot of great photographers and mentors along the way, all of which have taught her so much. She has been the B competition chairperson and currently teaches in the Lightroom course. Her interests in photography are wide-ranging, including everything from wildlife and macro to monsters, grunge, and reenactments. And for Lauri, it's all about getting out and enjoying the environment that you find yourself in and being creative with that environment. So those are our three judges for tonight. And with the B competitions, we have member judges, and they are here to read their own comments, although Dan is not here, so Eric will be reading Dan's comments. But Lauri and Eric will read their own. For those that are maybe not familiar with our judging criteria, each judge will score an image on a scale of 5 to 9. The final score for each image is the total of all three judges' scores. Images are judged on 3 criteria: impact, composition, and technique. And again, the B competition is really for our beginner and student photographers, or people who just don't feel they're skilled enough to compete in the regular competitions. So let's get started with the pictures. For the B competitions, the category is always pictorial, so that it can be really anything. So you will see a variety of pictures today.
Okay, this is a nice image of a bumblebee gathering nectar. I like the color palette of the pink flowers against the green background. The bee does look a little soft to me. Maybe a greater depth of field would have worked better. The exposure on the bee is good, but some of the flowers are blown out, causing them to lose some detail. I do find some of the flowers on the right side of the image to be a bit distracting. They seem a little too bright against that darker portion of the background. Maybe if you would have positioned yourself to the right a bit, it might have minimized that because it would have put green behind the whole image. But overall, it is a nice, pleasing image.
The image is entitled Bumblebee Head View by Gary Marich, 21 points.
Dan says, there are great leading lines that help guide the viewer's eye throughout the shot. When choosing where to crop the image, these leading lines should be considered, as they can help cultivate a more impactful image. The exposure throughout the shot is near perfect, with the exception of the slight gray area within the arch. Although burning that area was necessary to help the overall exposure, I think it was done just a little too much, which caused the discoloration.
The image is called Doyle Road Bridge by Jacqueline Murray, 22 points, 3rd place.
I found a cool comparison between the snowflakes on the child's sweater and the snow on the ground. The natural smile and the fact that he's not looking directly at the photographer makes the shot what it is, a very well done environmental portrait of a child.
The image is called Dreaming by Carla Merkel, 21 points.
This is a beautiful sunset image. The colors are absolutely gorgeous. Generally, it is not recommended to center the horizon, but I do think it works here. I do think I would have cropped the top to right above the cloud layer and enough off the bottom just to eliminate the lawn area on the left side, but that's just my opinion. Really great job.
The image is called Hakuna Matata by Blake Sugarberg, 24 points, 1st place.
Dan says the warm tones throughout the shot set the stage, and the extended branches offer a flow to the static subject matter. There is a conflict between the warm background and the green foliage in the vase, which can cause tension in the shot. In instances like this, converting to black and white can help focus the attention towards your subject. Overall cropping is good, but it would be nice to see a little more space on the right side of the image. Although the flowers are sharp, portions of the vase look to have a soft focus. That said, you may want to consider using greater depth of field so it encompasses all the subject matter.
The image is entitled Life Continues by Tuba Gogoklu, 22 points, third place.
I like the purple blue tones of the image, the angles and the eyes. However, your eyes tend to go to the brightest point in any image, which makes the white light, possibly a fluorescent light bulb, a bit distracting.
The image is called Masked Otherworld by Amber Kravitz, 23 points, second place.
Nice, pleasing image of a covered bridge. The exposure is good throughout the image, as well as the focus. I think I would have cropped some off of the left to eliminate the road signs and minimize the metal guardrail, and some off of the bottom to eliminate the river debris. Overall, nice work.
The image is called Mechanicsville Road Bridge by Mike Gall, 20 points.
Dan says, great symmetry and exposure throughout the shot. Adding a model or models at the end of the bridge may add more interest and a story to an already cool photo.
The image is called Middle Road Bridge by Jacqueline Murray, 22 points, third place.
If you let your imagination go, the leaf looks like a late autumn tree swaying in the wind. The image has nice contrast of color between the brown of the leaf and the green of the grass. The image on my monitor might have been a bit soft, so maybe an upload or JPEG compression issue, or maybe just my monitor, but I did not take any points off for that. I am not a fan of how close the leaf is to the edges on the top, bottom, and right of the image. You need to give it a little bit more room, like the left side, otherwise you kind of create a visual tangent.
The image is called Nature's Effects by Kim Lonsdale, 18 points.
This is an interesting image of a dog in the field, not a view normally seen. I do think that a frontal or side view would be more effective. I do like the fact that the maker got low for the shot and positioned the dog in the frame to have room to move to the right. However, I do find the foliage in the foreground a bit distracting. Keep experimenting with different positions and framing. You're definitely on the right track with this.
The image is called On the Scent by Gary Marich, 21 points.
Dan says, good exposure and focus. The subject matter is adorable and tells a fun story. For greater impact, consider cropping from both sides of the shot and reducing the vignette effect.
The image is called Playing with My Friend by Tuba Gogoklu, 22 points, third place.
This image has very nice artsy colors. The yellow golds and reds go well together. I don't mind the half leaves. It looks more like a watercolor painting. I'm having a slight issue with a small bit of a leaf on the mid right side. I'd either crop it out completely or include a little bit more of it.
The image is called Rolling on the River by Kim Lonsdale, 18 points.
This is an interesting artistic rendition of a dog, maybe a Saint Bernard in the snow. Using a faster shutter speed would render more in focus, and I would like to see the eye of the dog. I think a square crop would work here, eliminating much of the white and putting more attention on the dog. It's a great concept, though. Keep it up.
The image is called Saint in a Snowstorm by Amber Kravitz, 19 points.
Dan says the front of the oar boat indicates that they've had a collision or two. Reminds me of when I first started driving. That aside, you have great tonality, focus, and exposure. The decision to crop the foreground and the sky was a wise one, but I would have liked to see more space for the boat to travel into.
The image is called Ship Off the Old Block by Blake Sugarberg, 22 points, third place.
A very monochromatic blue-white image, and if you're not careful, you might miss the creature hiding in the middle. Shooting into water through glass, I'm assuming, does create its own challenges, as this image does appear to be a smidge soft.
The image is called Spotted Round Ray at 70 Feet, Islas Secas by Mike Gall, 19 points.
This is a nice, sharp image, perfectly timed. Great detail of the water around the dolphin. Good exposure on the water, not a lot of overexposure in the waves. The image does appear to be a little flat, probably due to the time of the day the image was taken. If the maker knows how to boost the contrast in post-production, the image would probably benefit from some adjustments. Overall, it's a nice image.
The image is called Surfing by Carla Merkel, 22 points, third place.
Dan says, there are some great aspects to this shot. I love that the model is placed in such a way that the heart in the background looks like a thought bubble. You also did a great job capturing the foreground and the background in focus using proper depth of field. With that said, I do find the model a bit too centered in the frame, and some of the structural elements distract from her. A simple solution is to crop a bit off the foreground and along the right side to offset the image a little bit more. Although you lose some interesting structural features, you're also losing composition. You also be losing competition for attention. Keep up the great work.
The image is called Abandoned Beauty by Amber Kravitz, 23 points, second place.
It took me a minute or two to try to figure out what I'm looking at. The colors of yellow, blue, and purple just jump out at you. Is the thing in the middle something from a steel mill, a pot over a campfire, or some tool used in glass blowing? The softness in the image and the color spray keeps you coming back and asking, what is it?
The image is called Artemis on Fire by Tuba Gogoklu, 17 points.
This is a nice image of the birds at the feeder. The image is a bit contrasty, probably due to the time of day. This is where clouds are your friend. I think that I would focus on one bird and eliminate all of the other distractions like the lines in the background and the large bird feeder. Sometimes less is more. Keep practicing. Birds are a great subject to hone your skills on.
The image is called Feeding Sparrows by Gary Marich, 21 points.
Dan says, there are delightful, subtle leading lines that take you through the shot. The focus on central area is great. However, the blurred area in the foreground tends to compete for attention. Consider cropping much of the foreground to focus more on the middle of the shot. Exposure is a little hot and can be toned down just a bit.
The image is called Grassicles by Jacqueline Murray, 24 points, first place.
A nice winterscape where you can see some reflections in the water in the mid-left side and more of the frozen water on the right. The red, white, and blue banner add a nice soft contrast to an otherwise monochromatic scene. I might have lowered the camera just a bit to crop out the branch in the upper left as it is a bit distracting.
The image is entitled Riverview by Carla Merkel, 19 points.
This is an awesome image of the 765. That's one of the favorite subjects here at the club. You captured the details of the train very well. I think the exposure is good. However, I do think the highlights could be toned down a bit. It seems a little too bright on the side of the train. I do realize that the lighting was probably pretty harsh on that side for the time of day, but overall, you did a great job.
The image is called Step Back in Time by Blake Sugarberg, 24 points, first place.
Dan says, an interesting image that makes one think. It feels like a political message, but then again, could be a winter still life. It is that unknown realm that will cause people to start to stare at this a little bit longer. Overall, there's good focus and good exposure, but the image could probably be a little darker along the top. The only issue I have with this image is the placement of the glove in relation to the frame of the shot. I feel it would be more impactful to have the glove closer to the top left corner, having more space for the fingers to point into.
The image is called Trying to Find Myself, Kim Lonsdale, 21 points.
Like the last aquatic shot, shooting through glass and or water is tricky at best. I think this image is a bit better than the other one I commented on. The red-orange of the rock tend to add contrast the shark and draws your attention more to it. I might crop a bit off the top to pull the shark closer to the top and make the red-orange coral or rock take a little bit more of the image. There's some extra space that may not have to be there.
The image is called White Tip Shark at 80 feet, Islas Secas by Mike Gall, 19 points. And that concludes tonight's competition. Again, a fairly small number of images, but certainly well done by our competitors. For more information about competing or to join the Cleveland Photographic Society, please visit our website, www.clevelandphoto.org. We want to thank all of our judges for their time and expertise. And we want to thank all who entered, and congratulations to our winners. We would appreciate any feedback you can send to us. Please send your feedback to info@clevelandphoto.org. So have a good night and stay safe, everyone.